work on these words. Can you help me? Get your finger down there. Let's read it together. White ghost is on a white horse. Look at the pictures help you with those words. Let's try this page. White ghost is on a black horse. You know what though? I think we read that a little slow. Could we pick up the pace just a little bit so it's a little more interesting? Let's read it just a little faster. Let's read this page again. White ghost is on a black horse. Now you try it. Go ahead, try it.
White ghost is on a black ghost.
Oh my gosh, everybody stop! Stop a minute. Christopher was having trouble with some of the words, and I helped him with some of the words. But this is how he was reading. White ghost is on a black horse. And then we picked up the pace a little bit because he was thinking, that sounds a little slow reading. I need to pick up the pace. Listen to him read now. Read it again real loud so they can hear. Take your hand down.
White ghost is on a black ghost.
A black horse. Did you see how he said black? He changed his voice too. Give him a silent cheer. Keep going. I'm going to come around and see if you're doing this.
Baby bear going fishing.
Let me go back and look at that word. Could this word be going? What else could that be?
Bear goes
Oh, nice job.
fishing. Baby bear goes fishing. When I'm going fishing, said Father Bear. I like fishing too, said Baby Bear. I will go with you and help you. You are too little to go fishing, said Mother Bear. I am not too little, said Baby Bear. I'm big.
Can I just stop and give you a compliment? I love how you're really using those eyes today to look all the way through the word. And you're not going on until it makes sense. And I really like how you're reading today. You can keep going.
Father Bear and Baby Bear went down to the river. Come here, fish, said Baby Bear. The fish are not coming today, said Father Bear.
All right, I'm going to stop you. And I'm going to give you a special reading goal today, okay? Today, I'm going to teach you that when you're reading and you see these quotation marks, I want you to change your voice a little bit, okay? So it'd be like, we can kind of sound like Father Bear, can't we? So when we reread the story, we'll practice changing our voice. So it'd sound like, the fish are not coming today, said Father Bear. And see how I went with my normal voice here because there weren't any quotation marks? Because Father Bear didn't say, said Father Bear, did he? So that wouldn't make sense to keep Father Bear's voice there, would it? All right, so I'm going to watch to see if you're going to change your voice whenever you see these quotation marks. Just think about who's talking in the story and how you can change your voice a little bit.
You want me to read the sentence over?
Oh, if you want to practice, absolutely. All right. It's kind of fun.
The fish are not filming today. Said Father Bear.
You just did exactly what I asked. You remembered to talk like Father Bear within the quotation marks, and then you went to your normal reading voice for said Father Bear. Very nice job.
Baby bear not fishing. Baby bear went.
Say the first part. So baby bear went. Say the first part.
On fishing.
Nice job.
Father bear and baby bear went home with the fish. Look at my fish, said baby bear. I'm not too little to go fishing.
Nice job.
I'm not too little, said baby bear.
Awesome job, Ireland. I really love how you changed your voice and you remembered. So every time you read, I want you to practice changing your voice when you see those quotation marks. And I noticed how you even looked ahead to see who was talking. That was a great job. I'm going to let you keep this story, and then we'll let you pick some harder books out, okay? On Monday. I think you moved up, darling.
Okay. What are you working on as a reader inside this book here today?
I'm finding in a space because the eyes of the eyes get crazy because it gets like that.
You're noticing the pictures inside this nonfiction book? Okay. I know you and I have been talking a lot about getting our minds ready for our book and using the pictures to help us think about what the book is going to teach us or what's going to happen inside this book. This is a nonfiction book, so we're using those pictures to help teach us something, true facts and information. So I'm glad that you're looking closely at the pictures because they will help us figure out some of those tricky words. What do you see? What do you notice?
I know the frogs on the leaf.
Okay. I see something right here. What is this?
And that says
It's one of those tricky words, but it's pointing to something to help us. What is it pointing to on the frog?
the feet.
Okay, it's pointing to his foot, but it's pointing to a part of his foot. Two different parts right here. What are those? What do you have on your feet?
Socks.
What are on your feet that move around on the ends of your foot? Do you know what those are called? Those are called toes. All the little wiggly toes that you have, your 5 toes on the end of your feet. Yeah? Frog has toes too. So this is a label, and it's pointing to the toes on a frog. And I bet you're going to find this word when you start reading the words down here. Okay? Let's see if we can find it. There's that word. Where did you just see that word? We just talked about it.
I can read
There it is.
word today is Monday.
What was this word?
The pictures help me as I read.
Nicholas, what is this pointing to?
The feet.
Okay, but what did I tell you those were called on the end of his feet?
Toes.
Toes, that's right. So go ahead and get a running start. Try that again.
There is a fork. Look at the toes.
That's right. This was helping us. This picture with the label pointing to the ends of his feet where the toes are, that was helping us figure out this big tricky word, toes. Keep going. Read with just your eyes, no finger.
Is the skeleton. You can see the toes. The toes are long.
There you go. So Nicholas, when you're reading, it's important that, just like you were doing, you look at the picture to help you gain some more information, and that you think about, this must be an important word that they have labeled here, pointing. I wonder if I'm going to see that word again, and we did, didn't we? We talked about how those were toes. On the end of your feet, those are called toes. Okay? Keep reading. Great job. Use those pictures to help you. And think about what makes sense.
Here is a monkey. Look.
Did you get your minds ready today before you began? You didn't? Well, it's important that we warm up our bodies. Can you imagine if you didn't warm up your body before you began soccer practice or football practice? All your muscles would be all stiff, so we have to warm up and stretch out our minds before we begin learning new information. So I'm going to ask you to close up your book and we're going to practice this together, okay? I want you to look at each other and tell each other what you already know about alligators before we even open up this book.
Alligators has baby eggs. And alligators,
Make sure you're looking at Jason while he's talking to you.
and alligators eat meat. Alligators got eggs, teeth, and that
That's all you know. Jason, is there anything else you can add to get your mind ready?
and they have scales.
Anything else? Okay. Well, now that you two have gotten your minds ready and you talked about what you already know, now you're ready to begin looking inside the books. But it's important that you warm up your mind and think about it and talk about it before you begin. Okay? You did a great job doing it once I came over and asked you to, but it was important that you did it first thing before you started looking through those books. Now you're ready. I should see one book out at a time. So Nicholas, you and Jason need to decide which book you're going to start with. Partners should only be reading one book together. Did you want to start with that one? Okay, so Jason, we're going to put this one back in the basket. Maybe you can go to that one second. Make sure it's in the middle so you both can see. Go ahead.
The babies turtles grow into the eggs. They are ready to hatch. The baby turtles use their flippers.
Remember, you can learn information from the pictures and from the words. Skylar, what poem are you working on right now? Okay, so tell me, what are you thinking? Can you do a little bit of reading of the poem for me?
Good morning, school has begun. Good morning, isn't it fun?
Okay, I'm going to stop you for a second. What do you see in punctuation that would make you change your voice a little bit? What do you see just in that first top part? We're going to cover up the rest of it. We're just looking at this top part right here. Do you notice any punctuation marks that should make you think, oh, I have to change my voice here?
The exclamation.
The exclamation mark. So what kind of a voice do you use when you come to an exclamation mark?
A really happy voice.
Okay, maybe it could be happy. Remember, sometimes exclamation points are just used to show feeling, any kind of feeling. So let's see how we might read that again.
Good morning, good morning.
Oh, listen. Just you changed it even from the first one to the second one. You started good morning, good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning, school has begun. Good morning, isn't it fun? Pencils and crayons, scissors and pens, erasers and paper, reading their books too. Good morning, school has begun. Good morning, isn't it fun? To bully him, he tripped him into a huddle, and then he took the chips, and then he did it again.
Oh,
he,
geez.
he threw the glove on top of the on top of the building.
You know what, girls? I want to teach you 2 things today that you can do, okay? One, you don't always have to read from just one person's reading file, okay? Like today you're reading from Zeba's, that's great. But you can read a little bit from your file, Natalie, and a little bit from Zeba's if you want to, okay? The second thing is, Zeba, when you were reading this, did you read this book today during independent time? Did you find those funny parts today?
No, I found them when I got this book.
Okay, like a couple of days ago. Something new that you can plan to do when you get together as partners is when you're reading a funny part, you can say, oh, that's so funny, I can't wait to show Natalie when we get together to read. And Natalie, you can do the same thing. When you find funny parts or silly parts, you can remember them to show them to Zeba. Are you thinking of one now?
Look over here. I remember about the artist. So now you want me to follow
Okay, well, I don't want to take you away from what your plan was here. You go ahead and continue with this story, but I want you to remember you can read from either of your files anytime, and you can share those things, the funny parts, the silly parts, anytime you want to, okay? Okay, keep up the good work.
over here. Did they put them in Robbie's lunchbox?
As a reader, what you're doing.
Like, right now I'm just reading the Harry Potter book, and, like,
You mind if I see which one?
number 7,
Okay, number 7.
the last one.
Okay, the last
So-
one. All right, and tell me a little about where you are in the story. What's happening?
Like, right now it's, like, close to the end, and it's when they're gonna battle, Voldemort and all the other people, so they can see who will win.
And if you're studying character, if you focus in on the main characters, what would you say? I noticed on your anchor chart you've been making movies about those main characters in your mind and really studying them closely. So if you thought about that character in that moment, in this moment, what would you have to say about them?
Well, Harry's kind of, like, nervous because he's gonna have to battle Voldemort, and
Okay.
all the other people are gonna have to hold off all the other bad guys that are gonna try to kill Harry.
Okay, so you said that Harry was nervous. It's a trait he might have at this part of the story. And I heard you say that, you were having a hard time connecting. Sometimes you really don't have a connection. Like I read part of my text, and part of it I really didn't have connections with, and other parts I did, so that it will happen. I'm wondering if you think about a time when you've been nervous.
Okay.
If you use the character's feelings, right? So if you use the character's feelings to help you connect, do you have a connection with being nervous?
Yeah, like when I was nervous, like when I was playing soccer with my friends, like I was like the ball got passed to me. Got passed to me, and then I was gonna try and make a goal. And then it happened, so
So what were you nervous about?
trying getting the goal.
Okay, getting the goal. So how can you circle that back around to what's happening with Harry at this moment? If you were to push yourself to say what's really going on for him.
He's also kind of scared also, but
Kind of push yourself to say more.
like
What did you want when you were nervous? You wanted
I
something.
wanted to make the goal, so
Okay, and let's circle that back around. What do you think Harry wants?
Harry wants to kill Voldemort, so he'll finally he can finally be good, finally rest, and finally not hide anymore.
So I think what you've really done is you've used your soccer game, the battle of your soccer game, right, in a similar way as Harry's battle, right? And you, in the soccer game, you wanted the goal. Harry wants something different. But being in a similar place of a battle, you can say, you know what, I can understand how he might
not only be nervous, but you added scared, right? Nervous and scared about the situation. Okay, so I'm wondering if you're at that spot that you really did make a connection, because I kind of heard you saying there's no connection here, and really you did, and so you might flag that, and then on your note paper you might, I don't know which page it was on, Zach, but you might put the page number and write a little more as to what you're understanding, your evidence of how you're understanding Harry to be at this moment. Okay? All right, I'm going to leave you with that bit of work. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. All right. So tell me, you're reading Attack of the Vampire. The Attack of the Vampire Weenies and Other Warped and Creepy Tales. Okay. So I have not read this, but is this a collection of short stories?
It sounds like it.
It sounds like it.
It hasn't actually, because the ghost in the well was about a ghost. And I think they're all different stories.
All different stories. Okay. So it's not like the Tiger Rising, where it's one main character all the way through. Oh, how many stories have you read so far in this text?
Here, I'm on the track of the... I've read 4 chapters.
Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna have a little conversation here. What I love, Nicholas, is that many of your classmates are reading novels, and I hadn't talked with anyone yet that was reading a collection of short stories. If that's really what this is.
I don't know. I haven't.
The title kind of has me thinking, when it says "in other warped and creepy tales," that there's like a number of tales in this. But one way, you don't want to lose your spot.
I'll just
right
put
here.
one of those
Yeah,
there.
put your post. I have my finger in there too. One way that we can tell is by the blurb. Yeah, by making sure we kind of check in with the blurb, right? So it says a boy steals a ticket to an amusement park and gets the roller coaster ride of a lifetime. Literally, the first day of middle school turns into a free-for-all when the gym teacher offers the class to get out of gym free card. Sick of his sister's vampire wannabe friends, a kid decides to teach them a lesson at their next party.
That's the one I'm on right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're short stories.
Okay, because it kind of sounds like the blurb is listing. Like there's a story about the amusement park, there's a story about the middle school, there's a story about the vampire wannabe, right? But let's just make sure. It says critically acclaimed author and master of the macabre David Lubar. David, that's your author, right? David Lubar is back with 33 more warped and creepy tales. So a tale is like a story, right? Another word for a story. So look at how many, with 33 more.
That's a lot. I'm on the 5th.
You're on the 5th. So it's important as a reader, before you even step into the book you're reading, to understand, am I in a novel where the chapters are all connected? Or am I in a book that looks like a novel, but they're all separate stories? Because it's going to change.
Like a novel.
It does look like a novel, but it's going to actually change the way you think, right? Because you're going to be in this short story, and you're going to have to pay attention to this main character in Ghost in the Well, and then a different main character in the next story, and a different.
Because that's why they haven't had a main character yet. I'm like, who is the main character?
So you've been questioning this all the while.
I'm like, who is the main character? I've been trying to find that out.
You've been trying to find it out. Okay. So this has really helped. And this is just a different genre. The genre, do you talk about genres? The genre you're reading is short story, where many of your friends are reading chapter book novels, right? So they're reading longer stories. Still fiction, right? But it's short story fiction. So the genre is still fiction, but it's short story versus novel. Okay? Well, I'm glad I could really help you with that. So the next time you start a book, what are you going to do?
The blurb.
Look at the blurb and then think to yourself, is this a novel? Is this a collection of short stories? What is this? Like, how is this book organized? Because it'll help your thinking as you move. Okay? All right, go ahead. You can continue reading.